Welcome back to another video. This video is going to be as raw as it gets. I'm about to just literally clip what I'm saying right now and put it on a Loom video that I have for our Dispo onboarding training. We got about 30 videos, but this video is going over our entire process as of today. Well, as of actually, I did the last video for it probably like last week, but June 19th, 2024. What I'm going to show you is exactly how our process map flows and what position or what happens in each stage. Now, it's not perfect. It's always being edited. It probably has already changed since I filmed it. But it's just something I want to show you guys. It helped me a lot when we created it, and helped me a lot in all of our other departments, these types of flows and process maps. So that way, when you have someone onboarding, they can look over this map. When you yourself are questioning, hey, is things working? You can look over this process map. And I think it's something that'll be very valuable for you guys to have. So if you got questions, or if you have any concerns about it, not that you should, but if you have any questions about it, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you. And this whole box up here is literally just for acquisition managers. So this isn't what we're doing, but I'm just going through here, right? They'll schedule pictures with the seller, the acquisition agent, not us, the acquisition agents. They'll determine what Dispo agent is next to get this deal. Then what they'll do is, did the rep answer them? Meaning, did they let them know that they're the next person? Yes. They'll schedule a time for the seller to meet with the Dispo agent to do an intro call. And they'll create a Loom video that you'll have access to be able to see and note any special deals about or info about these deals. Remember, all these boxes will have information or will have onboarding of what these each mean. But just to keep it flowing, here's where we come in place, right? Our job as Dispo is we'll review those deal notes that the acquisition manager gave us about this current deal. We'll create a Discord channel, which actually gets automatically once a contract gets started. We'll create a Discord channel, a thread for this. Now, this is something Karen does for us, but Karen is a junior Dispo right now, or excuse me, she's just Dispo assistant. She'll do that for us. And then we'll decide and review the deal and decide, is this a deal we want to move forward with? And what does that mean? What does this pertain? Well, all it is just saying, hey, if I review this deal as a Dispo agent, are we making money on this? If so, move on. Meaning sometimes you'll get a deal, and rarely, I would say less than 5% of the time, where you'll see review the deal, review the notes that the acquisition manager gave you, and you'll see that, holy crap, man, I'm running my comps and I'm using the notes he gave me, and I think it's worth like 300, and this AM locked it up at 400. Or we got to be a 100K discount. And so you got to decide, is this a deal we want to move forward with? And if it is, if it isn't, say in that case, right, we're way off, and you think, and again, this might only happen 5% of the time, so I won't spend much on it. But if you think it's wrong, or again, you think it's worth 300, AM thinks it's 400, and we locked it up at 380, like, it's not a deal where it's 80K over what you think it's worth as a Dispo rep. We have to go here. Is it worth it? No. We got to discuss with the acquisition rep, the home buying reps. Now, does that mean do adjustments? Price adjustments need to be made, right? Adjustments. Yes. Okay. Now the AM has to go, right? Follow the line. Yes, we do need adjustments. You think it's 80 grand less. You guys both agree, actually. Then the AM has to follow this process, right? The AM has to then go back to the seller, renegotiate. Did they answer, right? And I won't go into this as much of the AM process, but their job is to renegotiate and talk to and discuss with the seller and follow this process, right? Now, did they get the seller to accept the negotiations? Again, they had to go back and get an 80K price reduction at least from the seller, more than that. If so, notify Dispo, and then we go into our next step. Now, let's take it back here. Is this a deal we want to move forward with? We're making money. Let's say we're making, like, it should be 95% of the time money on this deal. Yes. Okay. Then we need to do an intro text and call, and it's really intro call. And you see me get to where we can gather information and set expectations with the seller. The intro call is between the seller and you. That's the most important call that we have. Now, there's a whole, I know for 1,000% sure because I did it. We have a seller call, intro call script, and we have some recordings of what those sound like. So this is one of the most important parts of the whole process, is when you first get in contact with the seller once they've already signed a contract with the home buying specialist. The next thing we determine, are we buying this property? Are we purchasing this property? If we are, which it probably happens 20% of the time, then we got to notify the project manager, okay? Once we notify the project manager, that is Parker right now, currently as of June 1st, 2024, the project manager has his own process he needs to do, right? Now, after he does an inspection process and sets stuff up, Parker, it comes back to us. And this is when a disposition rep and Parker will review the inspection. Again, this is if we purchase a property. This is probably 20%, but I'm doing the full circle for you guys, right? So we're going to purchase the property. We decided. We have review inspections. Then we receive and review the pictures. Is this deal something we want to move forward with? That's where the Dispo rep. Every triangle you see here is a decision. Is this a deal we want to move forward with? If yes, then we'll get the deal ready for closing. That's a process to do, and it's something that needs to happen with the TC department. But again, our job at Dispo is like, yep, we're ready to go. Let's get it ready for closing. Is this something now we got pictures back in review and we were going to purchase this, but now is it a deal we want to move forward with? No, we got pictures. It looks junkier, looks crappier. No, we don't want to go forward. Okay, well, can we renegotiate price? If yes, we go through that process. Were they negotiations successful? Yes, right. Picture perfect scenario. We went back. We said we needed 30 grand off because the roof was caved in and there's mold everywhere. Yes, they were able to negotiate that. Okay, we'll get ready for closing. If we cannot negotiate price, seller says hell no, right? And the negotiations were not successful. Do we still want to move forward? That's a decision based on the Dispo rep and more than likely the Dispo director on whether they're going to go forward with this deal based on the projected profit, right? This is when the Dispo needs to make a call based off risk with Gino if needed. Right now, me as a Dispo director, if it's needed, right? So next thing is if it's no, we don't want to move forward. All right, terminate the contract, and then we'll go to contract termination process. So we'll just have to notify the seller and cancel the contract and have Karen send out an amendment to do that, to cancel the deal with the seller. We cancel 30% roughly. And look, that means every 3 out of 10 we cancel. That's fine. We're not going to make every deal, work. So let's go forward now. Let's say we're not purchasing the property. Hope you're following me here. What we'll do is say, do we have pictures? If no, we need schedule for pictures to be taken. Now that's between Parker to do, but it's our job to make sure it gets done. So it's us as Dispo reps to stay in touch and tell Parker we need pictures set up based on what the seller said here in your intro call. You'll know in your intro call is actually talks about setting up pictures with sellers. So we need to schedule those. If we did, we'll review the deal and discuss with underwriting. So once we have pictures, immediately we will now move it to pending on marketing on our Dispo statuses. And then pending underwriting. And then we'll discuss with Jared right now, who's our current underwriter as of today, but you'll discuss with underwriting and you guys will determine what is the sales price, projected final sales price if we went on the market or whatever the deal says we're going to do. Meaning it's an access deal, meaning that we get to put on the market. If it's a manager pitch, we get to put it on the market. That's what we're going to do. We're going to, based on that, we're going to discuss with underwriting and get it figured out. And you'll have videos understanding this process, but we'll figure out a final price. Then we'll see, hey, now that we got pictures back and no, we're not buying it, but are we wholesaling it? And we discuss with underwriting, do we need to renegotiate? Meaning we got pictures back. We looked at it and, oh my God, we actually can't purchase it. It's in shitty condition. Well, then we need to figure out, does the AM have better rapport with the seller or does the Dispo manager, me, have better rapport? And what is rapport? Obviously, it's just a relationship. It's a deeper relationship. It's, hey, who here has the biggest relationship? At this point in time, it's more than likely going to be the AM because this is probably happening in the first 3 or 4 days of when you get the deal. Once an AM's locked it up under contract, right? You're at this point where you've already got pictures and you have them. Now, it just depends. Sometimes they might not, they already were talking to seller bad mouth about the AM. Hey, he told me this. I didn't really like him that much. I mean, that rarely happens. But then in that case, I would do it as a Dispo rep. It's really just a call, and it's between you and the AM to discuss who wants to go after for the reduction. Again, it's at the point that we got pictures. We're not purchasing it, but we got pictures, and we need to renegotiate it. If it's the AM, they'll follow their process here. If it's you as a Dispo rep, you got to go through renegotiation process. We have seller price reduction scripts and role play calls on that as well. Okay, and then we need to figure out, was the renegotiation successful? No, contract canceled, right? If we can't make the deal work at what we're trying to do, we'll cancel the contract, right? Now, there's a little bit more to it. We don't just cancel, but we would obviously be able to discuss this. This is a decision. Were they successful? And then go from there. If they were successful, do we have MLS access? Okay, yes. Property ready to be listed. That's what Karen would do. Karen's the Dispo assistant. She'll list the property once alerted with all the details you have. Now, remember, this was all based on us having to renegotiate. If we don't need to renegotiate in a picture perfect scenario, we get pictures back and we're not purchasing the property, but we're getting pictures back. And when I mean purchase, I mean that it's called a ferocity purchase, that we're going to buy it with our money and like fix it up a little bit and put it on the market, or even just fix it up and put it on the market, or just put it on the market, excuse me. this is saying like, hey, back here when I was talking about that is, are we just wholesaling it? And that's probably 95% of the time. 90% we'll wholesale it. So again, what we'll figure out is, do we renegotiate? No. It brings us to this point. Same point, right? Do we have MLS access? Yes. Get the property listed. If we do not have MLS access, which we should, if we don't though, we got to prepare to send to our buyers list. Now we have a whole process on that. We'll send it now traditionally, like you might have done in the past, Dispo, in to our off-market buyers list. If you have to pause and go back and watch this video, please do. I mean, it's a lot going on, but I hope it kind of makes sense. You might have to slow me down because I know I talk fast. But go back and watch this. There's no, you can watch as much as you want. So if we do have to send it to our buyers list, we got to follow a whole nother process. This meaning our buyers list of off-market buyers. We're not listing it on the market now, right? That's what we said here. Do we have MLS access? No. Okay. We got to send to our buyers list. We need to follow the marketing for buyers process. We need to coordinate showing times with seller and buyer. Is the property vacant? Right. Based on that, if it is, then we'll schedule with interested buyers of when they want to go out there. And we'll notify the project manager of scheduled showings, right? In case they attend the showings with those buyers. And they don't always attend, but if they did, they'll send showing and recap info if they did go to that showing with those buyers and give it to the Dispo rep. Now, is there a lockbox? No, we need to coordinate access with the seller. All right. Now, from here on, again, this is junior. I think this is Dispo assistant. Yeah, Dispo admin. We need to schedule showing with interested buyers, right? Now, this is actually the junior Dispo role now. So junior Dispo will schedule showings with the buyers. That's LA right now. And what we'll do after they go, we'll follow up with the buyers. Are they interested in putting an offer? If yes, then was the offer submitted? If yes, review the offer. Is it approved? Yes. Notify Dispo admin. Right? That meaning that we locked it up on our contract. And notify them, and they'll send the contract for the CEO signature. Are they not interested in putting an offer? Can we overcome any issues of why? If no, do we have additional buyers interested? If yes, then we'll follow up with new buyers, other buyers, right? If no, then we need to go do this marketing process to go find off-market buyers, right? And again, there's videos on how to do all this, okay? And most of this work right now, to be honest, is a junior Dispo role, but you as a Dispo rep need to understand it. You need to do it. You need to be able to do it if we don't have our junior Dispo person in there, which right now is Luis. So if the offer was submitted, no, we need to follow with the buyer. That's that makes sense, right? If he said he was interested in putting an offer and they don't, then we need to follow up with that buyer. Is the offer approved? No. Can we overcome the issues why the offer is approved, meaning it's more than likely price, right? If no, do we still want to move forward? No. Either terminate the contract or, in this case, don't answer, right? I don't think terminate contract is move on to next buyer, right? You're not going to have a contract to terminate yet, right? Because review offers, is the offer approved? No. Why? Because it's more than likely the price. You don't think it's not the best price. We can get a better one. Can we overcome those issues of price or any other terms, right? It could be DD. It could be closing dates. No. Do we still want to move forward? No. If move forward with them, no. If we still want to move forward with the deal, that's what I think it was. Move forward with the deal. So forward with the deal. That's where I got confused. So I'm going over this. Just so much stuff that even if I go over it 15 times, I have to change certain things. Do we still want to move forward with the deal? The deal. All right. No. Then terminate. Sorry, I was supposed to put terminate the deal. So, all right, that's what we'll do. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger so we don't blow it up too much. Do you want to terminate? No. Then terminate the deal. And then we have a certain process around that. Now, remember, if we do accept an offer off market, we got to notify Dispo, send contract for signature. Are there any additional changes needed? Send to buyer's agent with us signing it, or for other changes. If there's none, buyer contract signed, send a contract to TC and Dispo. Now, it should be the same thing up here when we go under contract. Right here, sorry. But property be listed, and then we have to follow up with buyers. So I just follow this process. Again, this is if a buyer goes off market. This is what we plan. Remember to get down here if we have no MLS access. But overall, this gives you an idea. You see, it's a pretty built out process. Gives you an idea how we flow, right, and how the system flows together. The only part that's a little bit missing that we probably will add to this is, do we have MLS access? Yes, the property's ready to be listed. Karen would then go ahead and get this property listed, and then we'll go from that point on defining buyers, right? If we get interested buyers and what the goal of it is, and pretty much go from there. But this gives you a good idea of how it works with the AMs, how it works with a junior dispo, how it works with a dispo assistant, and how they kind of work together to make this deal work and make this situation work. So I hope this video is useful for you. Again, how we do things, how we flow. Most of these squares, like I said, will have how-tos on it. And the important thing is, I'm looking at this here, is a lot of this stuff, even some of these squares, like I mentioned, is might not be something that Dispo is doing and Dispo Manager is doing. It's something now we've hired out and had a junior Dispo do, but you still should understand everything and know how to do it in case there's not a junior Dispo rep there to help you send these deals out to off-market people or to follow up with some of these buyers. You need to understand that. So hope you got some value from this. If you did, look forward to you joining the team. And even if you didn't, I look forward to you joining the team and letting me know where you could have been a little bit more understanding. But remember, this is just the beginning, and we got a lot more to learn, a lot more to come. So, be ready, ask questions. That's the most important thing I could say, is always ask questions. There's no stupid questions, right? Obviously, if there's solutions in further on in the onboarding that might go to your questions, review the onboarding. And now when I mean review, just look at the highlights of it and say, okay, though, that's going to answer my question about what I do with the contract. That's going to answer my question of how to negotiate. Obviously, this is just an overall process to introduce you, and then everything after is going to be more in detail. Now, my point is, if you feel like you have still something that you've looked at the onboarding that's not going to be answered, I would challenge you to go look and do the whole onboarding, but write down a question now if you have it. And then once you finish the onboarding, if you still have it, we'll talk about it. So hope you got some value, and look forward for you joining the team. Guys, so I'm making this video about 14 days later than the one you just stole. I'm actually going to edit this together. So now you just panned over to me. Now this is 14 days later. I've kind of explained about a minute ago in your video that you just watched that this property listed part was not complete. So we completed it since then. And so let's go through it, right? We stopped here previously. There was nothing. And now we're going to go forward as if the property's listed. What happens next in the disposition process? Well, let's follow this arrow down. Bear with us. And let's see what role this is. This is Dispo admin. Currently, this is Karen. So it goes down here. Karen's going to fill out documents to get this property listed on MLS. She's going to figure it out based on her state. Now, this is not something necessarily you need to know 100%, but at the same time, if Karen's out, it might require you to be able to list a property, which Karen has videos on how to do all this, but just so you could follow, based on what's stated in, it's going to determine what she does next. Yeah, she's going to find the listing docs, give them to the certain companies that we're using. If we're not, and this section can change, send docs to Nico. This can change now. I know I'm coming in here. We just fixed this. She's going to put it into her daily checklist, ensure the property gets listed. Did the property get listed? Update sales, make note property listed, change this status to walkthrough period. Right. So once it's on the market, it goes through walkthrough period. Then it shoots down over here to junior dispo. Right. Junior dispos then go in turn, going to be able to figure out, do we have any interested buyers? If not, we're going to go back up here and we're going to do a price reduction. Now, again, that's not same day, but that's just the idea. If he's looking through this deal, it's 5, 10, 15 days later, and there's no interested buyers, well, we're going to get a price reduction. Now, let's say there is. Well, we need to field inbound calls from those buyers, right? Or interest appointments, whatever it is, not just calls, but any scheduled appointments. And we need to identify what property they're calling in for. Then we need to fill out Salesforce, right? Again, you might have to do this as well. Now, there's videos on this, but we're just taking you through the process map. It's not every little step, but it is a lot of them. So once you figure out who's calling in, you got to fill out Salesforce, interested to cash buyer fields. When do they want to visit? Details about the buyer. Do they want to see the property? No. Try to get them interested in seeing it. Self-explanatory. If they do, yes, schedule with the buyer, interested buyers. Follow up with the process with the buyers, right? Follow up with them to get them there. Did they go into the house? No. Well, redo all this again. Schedule a time to get them into the house again and follow up with them. If they did, do they want to make an offer? Yes. Okay. Offers collected. No. Can we overcome the issues? Yes. again, why can't you make an offer? Is it the condition? Hey, what if we fix this? Hey, there's a lot of trash there. What if we cleaned it up for you before closing? Like, those are the objections we need to face as a junior Dispo rep or someone taking in these calls. If they can't overcome the objections, do we have any additional buyers interested? At this point, it depends on what part of the process this is, if it's 30 days down the line or 5. But if it's 30 days down the line or whatever it might be, and we have no interested buyers, well, we have to go up here. Now, if we do have interested buyers, we're just going to keep that process going. So let's follow it. Let's pretend we have no interested buyers. Well, now we're going to go up here, and we're going to go for a marketing process for buyers, right? We're going to follow this process to how to market out to other additional buyers, mostly off market, I believe. But we're going to figure out another marketing plan for buyers. Now, again, that's if we have no one interested, right? Was the offer collected? Like I said before, if there's an offer collected, no, follow up until the offer is canceled, or collected, right? They go in there, they say they want to make an offer, right? They say yes. Was it collected? No. Okay, well, we need to follow up with them until we get an offer. Self-explanatory, right? But was the offer collected? Yes. Okay, once offer is collected, this is when Dispo comes in. This is when your main role of the Dispo manager comes in, right? They get soft offers as a junior Dispo rep. They don't negotiate. They just get offers, collect them, and then it's time for the Dispo rep to review the offer. Is the offer approved? Probably not, right? Because we need to overcome the issue, and the issue might be price, right? So, we try to negotiate every offer, whether that's with price. We got to want to negotiate price first, due diligence, earnest money, closing date, title company, closing attorney we're using, whatever that is. So if the offer is not approved, which I highly doubt immediately they will be, can we overcome those issues of, hey, we want more price, or hey, we want lower due diligence, or hey, we want higher earnest money, right? If we do that, notify Dispo admin, which is Karen in this case, and then she's going to send a contract. She's going to send that contract to us, to me, the CEO, to sign it. Now, what if we can't overcome it? Do we still want to move? Do we still want to move with the deal? If yes, then let's just continue our marketing process for this deal, right? Meaning, like, we're not going to just because we only got one offer we didn't like, we're not canceling this deal, right? But now, if we're at the point where it's day 45 and or 30, and it's, do we want to move this deal? No. So we would terminate, right? And then we would do a contract. There's a process with that of how we do that. There's calls on how you can go for the negotiation or the seller reduction, right? So again, let's follow here. This takes us back to Karen. You guys kind of saw this before. It's a little bit more built out, but Karen's going to send it to me. And again, you might be Karen in this case. This is why it's important to understand. Karen might be out. You might have to do this, right? Like I said, there should be videos on most of this, but we're going to send contract to the CEO. Are there any additional changes needed? No. Okay, well then I'll sign buyer contract signed, right? If there is, send to buyer's agent for changes. Then once you do that, once you have the buyer, we have the executed contract, we're then going to have to send that to the TC, buyer agent, and listing agent to update the MLS. Then you update Salesforce, and what does that mean? Items update, interested buyer profile update, terms of the seller, mark the buyer status to under contract, and add B to C due diligence period. And I would reference, add B to C due diligence period. Does the offer include DD? Yes. Update Salesforce status to inspection period, right? So it's buyer inspection period. And no, update Salesforce to buyer post inspection, buyer sign contract, signed and sent to TC. Now, from that stage forward, it's up to you and TC to communicate on certain things and certain things that need to be done, whether that's with appraisals, inspections, and whatever of the sorts, right? So just a little update. We're probably going to keep adding more stuff here and there. So this is June 15th. I think the other video was like June 1st. There's stuff going to be added. Obviously, it's changing. I think it's the original stuff. Nothing was really changed. So I'm just adding on to this video. So again, like I probably ended in that video, which you're probably seeing now. I hope you guys are excited. Join the team. And remember, always ask any questions.